So the story I want to share with you is a story of me finally waking up. Right. So one day, as I lay on my bed, and I'm thinking about a variety of things that happened in my life. So many questions came up, and till this day, I have no answer for a lot of these questions that I asked myself as I lay on this bed with my back hurting. My back is in pain. I thought back to the time when I was sitting in a courtroom and my mother came out of the back, and as a 7-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy, I'm jumping up because I'm able to see her for the first time in a long time. But as I'm jumping up, my aunts and my cousins says to me, "Sit down. You can't do that." So at that age, the only thing I could think about is just being in a playground and just being someplace where I can actually play. And to hear her tell me to sit down, and I'm seeing this individual that I love for so many years come out of the back and not see her for so long, I was kind of confused. So as a young man at that age, I'm listening, so I sit down because this is what I was told to do. But she came out for less than a minute and turned back around, but my eyes seemed like I had binoculars and I could see right into her eyes, and her eyes opened with joy, but immediately shut because she had to turn back around and go back into the back room. And as I'm laying here still in pain and I'm thinking about that moment, still I had no answers for that day. Then I thought about the time where she was finally home with us in my grandmother's house, and she was dying. This is some years later as I'm an adult. So as that memory passes by and I still have no answers for it, I start thinking about my father, for how many years I didn't see him. And one time where he finally come to the community and he sits me on his lap and I'm explaining to him about the memories I had for my mother. And he's asking me how she passed. So for me it was kind of confusing because now I'm 12 years old, about to turn 13, and I'm explaining to him how she was before she passed away. And as months go by, I'm coming outside to just see him and just talk to him for a little while, but I'm still residing with my grandmother. And I would see him for this short length of time, and then eventually he disappears. So the next time I remember talking to him was on a payphone. This is when they actually had payphones, and cell phones wasn't that huge. And I would go to this regular payphone to speak to him like clockwork. Like every Thursday, 3 o'clock, I go to this phone, he would call, my uncle would give me the phone, I would talk to him. And I'm talking to him about life, things, but not knowing that he's incarcerated. So as we having these discussions, the deeper I get into the discussion, the less of a response I would get, the more confused I am, because if you don't know, you're only allowed a certain amount of minutes on the phone, and I was using up that whole 6 minutes that he actually had to talk to me. But it was some days where he had to use some of that 6 minutes to use a minute to speak to this person, a minute to speak to that person, and for me that was confusing. So I never understood exactly why I did not have the amount of time that I needed to actually speak to him. So I'm still laying here on this bed and I'm still thinking about all these things. And then it brought me to a time where I thought about my grandmother, my lovely grandmother, who took care of 15 of us in a 3-bedroom apartment. And I'm wondering about all the pain that she was actually going through, because most of our parents was either running the streets or they was incarcerated. But not until I got to be an adult did I really understand when you're not seeing someone for a long time and you're not talking to them for a long time, it's a possibility that they're in jail or they're in prison, and it's but so much you can do about it. So as I'm thinking about all of these thoughts and I'm laying on this bed with my back hurt, I still had no answers. Then I got tired of thinking. I got tired of thinking about the multiple situations that caused some type of trauma to my life. So as I'm trying to think how to wake up out of this nightmare, out of this dream, I bled. And I bled and I jumped up. And in my dream I was bleeding, but as I got up, I was really bleeding. So, I get up and I look around and I'm not home. I'm on Rikers Island on bed 34 in a room full of 50 people. And the bed that I was laying on, the reason my back was hurt because it was a steel metal frame on a mattress this thick, or should I say this small. And it was just about this big. And so all of these thoughts that I'm thinking and all of these situations that I'm thinking about, most of the time when you're in your own bed and you're thinking and you're dreaming about all these things, you're able to toss and turn. But something in my head told me not to toss and turn, because if I turn too much, I'm gonna fall off the bed. So when I got up and I was able to look around the room at all these individuals, and I'm saying to myself that not only am I not the only person going through a lot of these situations, but I'm in a room full of trauma. I'm in a room full of individuals that's going through similar pain and similar struggles. And that for me was kind of confusing. So as I got up, and remind you, I told you that I was bleeding, I got up, and immediately I thought about all those things. So I go to the bubble, which is this room where the officer sits, and I knock on the window, and it's a female officer. And of course, as a man, you're kind of frightened to tell another sex what it is that you're actually going through, unless it's a man, and as a man you're supposed to be so macho, not supposed to cry, not supposed to complain about pain. And I knock on the window and I explain to her, I had to change that around and say it's not a man thing, it's a human thing. I had to explain to her what I was going through. So as I explained to her, she told me to wait until she called someone. So I really didn't leave out of there, even though I was bleeding. I didn't leave out of that dorm for the next 3-4 hours, and still then I wasn't able to see a doctor. Thank you.